for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to the Market Recap. I'm Dan Hodgman. It is Wednesday, January 12th. I hope you guys all had a good day. Markets weren't hugely moving, at least as we look at the stock market, which tends to be kind of our benchmark, right? Stocks tend to be the main one we're talking about, or we think about when we have that idea of markets moving. Well, stocks relatively quiet. But you got crude oil continuing on trend, right? We had those two down days between Friday and Monday. Yesterday we saw the big rally kind of extend, or the big rally take off yesterday with a 4% day. We're seeing that continue here today. You got crude oil up 1.8% or $1.50. So that market really continues to take off. We still got some room up above. $84 is where my benchmark is up top. So we still got about $1.30 to get all the way up there. We checked 83s. 83s rejected a little bit. A 50-cent sell-off there. Ended in the night now right around 82.70. You got S&Ps opened up this morning away from settlement price. We finally got closing the gap to settlement price as an opportunity in a trade there. And the same thing for the NASDAQ. Both those opened up away from settlement price. We have questionable news coming out with inflation, 7% year over year, worse since 1982. I'll be honest with you, I would have expected a bigger down push, but not quite there. That market came down, checked settlement price. We got a nice little bounce off settlement price, but those inflation numbers got gold continuing to grind higher, and same with the euro. And 10-year note kind of breaks out of that range we've been in for the last 3 days. We're going to take a closer look at that one and see how you could have played that utilizing volume profile. Remember, normally we're just looking at day over day, right? We look at the previous day, we keep an eye on that, but then I'm a big proponent of taking a look at volume over time. Where has the opportunity been, or where has the trade been over an extended period of time? So we looked at that prior to yesterday's trade. We saw where overlaying a few days showed opportunity. Well, the same thing here today. I'm going to show it to you guys in the 10-year note where you can overlay it over multiple days prior to where the trade was, right? We want to be looking at this as though it's real time, and we'll see it. We pull right back to high side of value from this range. We've seen it break out. We're showing acceptance and holding up above that value area. We should look for that market to continue in that direction, right? So we're thinking inside. Or we're thinking that maintaining that directional move. So that's what we got there, 10-year note. Other than that, yields are relatively quiet. Up on the 30, down on the 10, so relatively quiet on the yields. Not a whole lot to write home about on those. PK, PD, and Miguel, good to see you guys. I say we just dive right into these charts and see what we got going on here today. As always, we want to start with the crude oil. So here's what we got. Right, we're looking at this market. We saw resistance this morning, or in the overnight session, right here around 81.80, 81.90. So you got good resistance. Market opens up, pulls right back to that consolidation, where we saw that resistance. Remember, what was once resistance may become support. So we broke out, we held above those levels, and this is the key level. If these 80s hold for us on the open, if they hold, look for this market to continue in trending direction. So I'm thinking this market has been maintaining trend over the last, who knows how long, month and a half, or even over the last year, maintaining really strong trending direction in the upside here. Market pulls right back, consolidation. Key level, we can go ahead and start thinking about longs, and maybe we're putting our stop near value from overnight, or we're utilizing moving averages and we're putting our stop just on the other side of that moving average, and we're going to hope for this direction to continue off the open. Does exactly that. Trend is our friend here. That's what you want to look for when you're looking to take advantage of trend and directional trade. We want to have levels or areas where we're going to find opportunity. Market pulls back to what was once resistance, now support. We're looking at thinking, okay, maybe we got an opportunity from support. If these 80s hold, we got a chance for this market to rotate in that trending direction. Did that really nicely. So good opportunity there. 83s reject. That really would be, for me, what I'm looking for. I'm looking for move from down below up to 83s. At that point, I'm out, calling it a day. Next, let's go ahead and look at the S&P 500. Settlement price in this is 47.05 even. 47.05 even. Right here is 05s, right? So we got 47.05 as settlement price. Market opens up away from settlement price. Initial move is higher, but we start to fail. We start to lose volume on these upticks. Once we start to recognize that we're not attracting any more buyers, it's like we talked about yesterday. The only way you're really going to be able to pick this up is understanding and really paying attention to order flow. It's not the most easiest thing to sit here and educate and talk about how to learn order flow. The best way to do it, watch these markets. If you're using TS Trader, you do have that opportunity for replay, so you can go ahead and replay when you know these times are coming up. Keep an eye on that order flow. So market starts to reject. We look for rotation back inside. Oh yeah, we had bad numbers too this morning. We can't expect a huge uptick. So we've got that, all these factors kind of weighing in here. Market's going to rotate lower. And what's our target down below? 47.05, settlement price. That's what we're looking at. We want to see this market kind of close the gap to settlement price. Did that really nicely, and we got a nice little bounce, and then this market gets pretty tight. So I think money to be made this morning was off the open, rotation back to settlement. Next, let's go ahead and look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ being one of the volatile markets here, gets a little quieter today, but the same exact principle applies. You got settlement price, and how about that? Point of control right here. Point of control, 15,793, and settlement price isn't too far up above that. 15,831 is our settlement price. We have two key levels down below. I'm going to be using settlement price as a target more than point of control, strictly because we have value high from yesterday. Market opens up away. Again, same thing. We struggle to start making new highs. And that's what we want to pay attention to. If we see us struggling to make new moves and new highs in an uptrend market, it's going to be our chance. Maybe we can find some rotation back inside. We're looking for this market to rotate back inside. And again, bad news on inflation. It's not going to want this market to take off. Markets don't take off on bad news. I think we're relatively in a decent situation. The fact that they didn't break down as much as they could have on the numbers. So we see this market start to rotate back inside. We're moving it to settlement price right down here at 831 with value high. And then you can start to pay attention to here. If we don't see this market starting accepting this value from yesterday, that's what we want to look for. If we don't accept, then we're just looking to say this market range bound between overnight high, overnight low, right? That's where our range is. Now on the flip side, let's say this market starts to carry over and we are holding inside value. Then we've got an opportunity to look for this market to rotate lower. Value rejected. Look for that market to go a little bit more range bound, utilizing overnight levels. Next, let's go ahead and look at the gold. Gold taking off this morning. Settlement price in this one is 18,1850. 18,1850, right? Here we go. 18,1850. Market opens up, kind of trades around it, right? We're trading around it. What have we been doing the last, we can call it 3 days? Market maintaining trend. Now we get to start an idea. We're going to talk about things that we kind of maybe we've talked about in the past. We can start to look at things. What's this market doing? We're maintaining trend to the upside. That's what we want to look for. We're recognizing where our points of weakness to go with trend. We have that on the open. Market pulls back just a little bit towards the low side. Point of control, settlement price. That's going to be a great opportunity, looking for that pullback to continue with trend. All right, next, let's go ahead and look at the euro. Euro, here we go. 7:30 this morning, inflation number comes out. Euro takes off. Look for that trend to continue. Look for that move all day long. This is another point. That's where you want to pay attention to order flow. You want to start to recognize where are weak points in these upticks. Where are weak points in these directional moves? This is some of the hardest trading to get involved in. A lot of times people just want to say, okay, I'm going to buy. More often than not, when that chance of I'm going to buy, that's when we start to hit these highs, right? That's when we hit up here and we see a pullback, shakes us out. I hear way too often people talking about, well, I was buying it all day long, but I kept getting chopped up. It's because you're not really paying attention to what the market itself is doing. We're buying those highs. As the market continues to mark new highs, that's our signal. Don't touch it. Do not touch it. Start to recognize what prior lows are, and you want to look for those weak points. It's all we got to do. We got to look for those weak points to continue with directional move. We get a little pullback, then we get our chance to take off with the market there. All right, lastly, let's look at this 10-year note, because this is my most favorite one I want to talk about here today. So yesterday we were looking at this volume profile over 3 days, now going on 4 days. But we kind of fell into a nice little range here. Two things. Number one, where's the swing high of where this range began? Right here, up here at 128.21.5. What's our high today? 1 point above, or 2 ticks above that. But here's what I love. I wanted to overlay this so we can't say in hindsight. We can say in the moment, we've got value high over the last 3 full trading sessions. We've got value high right here at 128.12.5. Market opens up and we get a huge pop. We reject overnight highs. We rotate lower. We get our pullback. And as soon as we come towards that value high, this to me is our chance. Now we can start to look for the long opportunity. We're not moving inside. We can put our longs down here, and if it moves, let's just say through that overnight low right here at 128.10.5. So 4 ticks. We take a 4-tick risk, and we look for this market to rotate. First stop is going to be up here. For me, overnight high to the next swing high, or the high side of that range we've been looking at. That to me was the best setup in all these markets here today. Hopefully you guys found some opportunity. Remember, it's only Wednesday, so we got plenty of opportunity ahead of us. Still a couple more days of trading, so take your time, be patient. Couple things to note. John's Foundation class, make sure you're in that one every single day at 12:30 p.m. Central Time. If you can't make it, that's all right. We're sending out anyone that signs up, you do get the recording of it. So some great content in there, great information. It's going to be a total of 4 weeks and 16 hours of classes. So sign on up if you haven't already. We're a couple days in. We're 3 days into that, so make sure you go check that one out. You can find it on our website. All right, so what do we got going on? Bitcoin, pretty steady, $43,970 a coin there. Omicron continues to be a major conversation. They're starting to say most people are going to get sick with this variant. Fortunately, it's not showing as serious or concerning as some of the previous variants, but that doesn't mean you don't want to be safe out there. Wash your hands, be smart about it. And we're starting to see some continued supply chain issues, right? So we do have these supply chain issues. So think about that as you kind of plan out going forward. Other than that, I think one of the most interesting topics I have seen over the years, we've all heard about Congress being allowed to have a little insider trading. There's now kind of a growing push to limit their ability to trade stocks after seeing some of them do really well here this last year. All right, with that being said, let's take a quick glance at some of these stocks we like to keep our eyes on. Airbnb, $169.54. David, good to see you as well. GameStop, $128.06. AMC, $22. Tesla, nice little uptick here today, $11.06. Robinhood down $16 a share in Robinhood. And lastly, Rivian. On Monday, we looked at this price, $81.44. I'm going to say we're buying that one, $81.44. That's going to be our buy for the year. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. So we got about $5 so far in Rivian to kick off the year. All right, lastly, economic calendar. We're looking ahead. Jobless claims tomorrow, as always. Thursdays. Big numbers. Keep an eye on them. That's going to be our bigger one throughout the rest of the year. Also, at the same time, jobless claims, you get PPI final. And then going into Friday, retail sales, industrial production, both pre-open there. So, pre-open there. So keep an eye on that stuff throughout the rest of the week. PD, as they continue forward, we'll keep uploading. I think there's a whole process to getting them uploaded. There a lot of information there. We clean them up and then we upload them. So they'll continue to roll out there, but they'll all be available for everyone out there. Frozen, haven't really looked at PayPal. Give them some thought and we'll take a look at it. Autolus just made 71 trades today, but ended up today 1,200. Is it acceptable in the combine? Or should I try to lower the amount of trades I take? truthfully, combine or not, I would sit here and say at 71 a trade, 71 trades, I would really try to reel that in. That's going to again lead to an expensive day. I show you a lot of opportunity that I see here. A lot of what I'm pointing out are things that I'm actually executing on, and I can maybe get a little bit more personal in some of what I'm doing and show those a little bit differently. But I can tell you, we had opportunity in these markets over just a few trades to make more than 1,200 trading one lots, right? You saw it. We saw it in crude oil. Crude oil sets up really nice. We got that pullback to consolidation. Those 80s, right? Market moves all the way up. One trade, one contract. We take our low from 81.80s. I'll run that up to $83. That's a $1,200 trade right there per contract. So there's a ton of opportunities out there. I personally think the key to being successful in the retail world, minimal trading, looking for big opportunities. When we start taking those large amount of trades, we get comfortable with it. We can take, we can take 10 losses in a row, and it's not going to mess us up too much psychologically, but it can really start to bury us. And those are things we need to think about as traders, right? We want to think about that. Where am I going to affect myself psychologically? It may work for a certain amount of time, but when it goes bad, how bad is that going to go? And when we're used to taking a large amount of trades, we're going to be able to tell ourselves mentally that it's okay to take a large amount of losses because, hey, I've taken 25 or 45 trades here today. I am down. I'm down 1,000. That's totally okay. I usually do 70, so I got another 30 trades to recover this. I can recover this no problem. Let's say I'm averaging $100 a trade. I can take 30 trades. That brings me profitable, puts me in the money, but it can also do the opposite. So I would always stress, make sure you are taking your time there, looking for those bigger opportunities. Wait and be patient. Wait for that market to pull back to your channel, right? Or those levels that you're looking at. Execute there, and then you can look for those bigger profits. Awesome. All right, everybody, that's what I got for us here today. I hope you all had a spectacular day. John will be back tomorrow morning, 7:45 a.m. Central Time with the market forecast. Make sure you tune in. So until then, stay safe, wash your hands, trade smart, and trade well. Look forward to seeing you guys in the markets. Take care, everybody.